Hi everyone, Rush Reviews here, and today I bought the Super Pizza. You might be wondering why this thing is so super. Well, they're going back to the basics with pizza. This isn't your mom's pizza. This is the pizza that you remember from 2012. The greatest, the best pizza you've ever had. Man, it feels like just yesterday that I bought this pizza. Dear Lord. Holy sweet Jesus. Now that's what I call a pizza. Alright, time to try out some of this pizza. Many games sold Many games have sold millions of copies from just hype alone, even if they weren't as good as they've been hyped up to be. And one of this year's largest culprits of that has been Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Alright, let's start with before the launch of Black Ops 4. When Black Ops 4's leaks first started to happen, it was pretty much only bad news. We heard that Activision was trying to make it like an Overwatch ripoff, but that didn't work out, and we were really not hopeful about the game after coming out of COD World War II. But then that trailer came out, man, and we were hyped. Dude, you know, we had a brand new zombie storyline, we had a Mob of the Dead remake, the multiplayer was boots on the ground again, and we were seeing remakes of maps. Then after that, during E3, the Black Ops Pass was announced, and this was supposed to be a replacement for the Season Pass. They were kind of talking about it like Fortnite or CSGO, where you would get weekly updates, and I was excited for it. I thought that we were going to be getting more multiplayer and zombies maps than normal, but that was a lie. Instead, we've gotten less multiplayer and zombie maps than in previous games so far, and most of the content is just remakes. And I didn't pay $50 so that I could get 16 remakes of maps that I already paid $50 for in previous years. When Black Ops 4 launched, they had changed a lot of the core elements of zombies that I felt didn't need to be changed and made the game worse, while not changing some of the overarching problems with the game mode itself. One of the things they added to Black Ops 4 which I did like was the easy, medium, and hard selector, but that brought out one of the major problems that I've been noticing with the series recently. Black Ops 4 feels like the easiest zombies game in the entire series. I went on easy mode first time on Classified. On 5, I couldn't get down to the second floor. I was really bad at Black Ops 4 and zombies. But for this map, I was able to get to round 160 on my first try. You know, after you get through the high rounds, and you have all your weapons and your perks and you're set up, it gets boring, and there's nothing new to do. And eventually you quit out of boredom if you're not going for a high score, and they didn't fix that. It's still the same loop. It's just get to a high round, get bored, and quit. They also changed the way that gobblegums work so that now you don't even have to buy the gobblegums at the gobblegum machine. You just have to press a button and it immediately takes you there. This makes it too easy, and this makes it too easy to spend money. It's a press this button to win button, but you still have to pay for it. I don't like that. And this new perk system is you customize the perks that are in 4 different perk machines. And they took out most of the original perks other than Quick Revive. The thing about that is that they had kind of a Pokemon rock, paper, scissors dynamic. Each of them served their own purpose, but you couldn't have all of them at the same time. So that meant that different people should be getting different perks to have their own advantages, right? Treyarch wanted to push that up to 11 by giving everyone their own customizable perk setup, right? So one person would have 4 of their own perks, another person would also have 4 of their own perks, and they'd serve their own purpose. But that is overly complicated and you don't know what perks people have. And also, taking out all of the good perks, they pretty much just replaced them with these perks that are like gobblegums. They're really useless, and I pretty much never buy perks in this game. I don't understand how they work, and I don't care to. When I first saw the 9 trailer, I thought it would be the worst map in Black Ops 4. It looked too gimmicky and melee-based, but boy was I wrong. 9 is definitely my favorite map in Black Ops 4. Its symmetrical design and size gives the map a layout that's easy to remember, but still takes a while to completely open up. It's the only map in Black Ops 4 that feels like it's meant for high rounds, while still including an Easter egg and boss fight. The underground tunnels can be hard to navigate, and I find myself getting lost in them all the time. Also, the first box spawn is incredibly difficult to survive in compared to other possible areas for the box to spawn in. Now might be one of my favorite maps in all of COD Zombies, but it's dragged down with Black Ops 4's gameplay and new perk systems. So I really wish that I could see this as a custom map in Black Ops 3 or something. When I first saw the trailer for Voyage of Despair, I thought that this would be the best on-disc map on Black Ops 4. And again, boy was I wrong. Voyage of Despair is set in an accurate recreation of the RMS Titanic, which I really admire, but this leads to the map being confusing and having a lot of tight spots. Voyage is probably the map that I played the least, because it takes so long to get through the map that usually I just die by the point that I get over to the Pack-a-Punch, and it just keeps stuffing Easter egg steps down your throat, and for me, someone who doesn't really want to do the Easter eggs, it can be really annoying. I was really excited when I saw the Blood of the Dead trailer, because I love playing Mob of the Dead, but after the first week of playing it, I realized that there's a lot of flaws with the map. For example, the map feels too cinematic for me. Like in the beginning when you have to run through the giant gate thingies, and all the zombies are trying to hit you. There's no other way to get into the prison, and I think that's kind of annoying, and they just did it to become cinematic, which shouldn't be how you're designing your map. This is a survival mode, so there should always be 2 ways in and 2 ways out. Mob of the Dead was a very well-designed map, but everything else just didn't feel worthy of being a part of the map in my opinion. It just kind of felt like it was tagged on there and didn't actually need to be there. So I don't think Blood of the Dead as a map needed to exist, but I did enjoy Richtofen's story arc, where he kinda faced his fears and sacrificed himself. Dead of the Night is my least favorite map in Black Ops 4, and I think most people would agree with me. Call of Duty has done a great job with their map locations, doing stuff that's really interesting, like a World War I battlefield, an empty airfield, a giant highway where you can go on stops off a bus. But Dead of the Night probably has the most generic setup of any Call of Duty Zombies map. It's just in a giant fancy house. Now, there are some interesting things about it, like there's a werewolf, but this really seems like it would be a Call of Duty custom map, if you know what I mean, right? It's just set in a pretty generic big house, and the plot didn't really need to be there. We already knew that Alistair Rhodes had been kidnapped, but we didn't really need to know what led up to it. We already pretty much know who kidnapped him, and it probably would have been better for this map to either be a in-launch map, or for it to have not come out at all, because this entire map could have just been explained in one cutscene, and it was the ending cutscene. That was all you needed. Now, a lot of people were really stroking off Ancient Evil for being an amazing map and the best map in the game or whatever, but I really have to disagree with that. Ancient Evil feels just as cinematic as Blood of the Dead, and it doesn't feel like it's fit for survival mode. All of these maps feel like they were just for Easter eggs, and the same thing with Black Ops 3. The only thing that really saved Black Ops 3 for me, and why it's my favorite Call of Duty game in the entire series, is the custom map, because I still kinda like the on-disc maps. They're leagues better than Black Ops 4's maps, but they were really just fit for the Easter egg. But Black Ops 4 takes that up to the next notch. Black Ops 3's maps could still be played with survival, but Ancient Evil and Blood of the Dead especially have these, like, gimmicks that don't really work in a survival mode. Like, when you're riding the horse and you have to go through a cutscene. That's not really good map design for anything other than an Easter egg. These aren't survival maps. Zombies just feels like it's now just the Easter egg, and that makes me sad. Because now that there's no custom maps for Black Ops 4, this is all it will be, is just the Easter eggs, like Black Ops 2. There's no real reason to play most of these maps. The only map that I really enjoy playing that focuses around the Easter egg was Origins, and that's because it's just fun to play on. There's a good setup, it still feels like a normal zombies game, and the Easter egg is a part of surviving. You need to go through the Easter egg to do stuff to survive. For these other ones, it's almost completely optional, and that just it doesn't feel right. It feels like they just kept trying to copy Origins without taking some of the very, very important parts of that map and making just kind of a mess that just leads it to it feeling just like a campaign, and me trying to survive is just wasting time, which it shouldn't be. The Easter egg should be the optional thing to do. Classified, I think, is my favorite map in all of Black Ops 4, and it's a Black Ops 1 remake. That's because it's like the only map meant for survival, other than maybe 9, that was in Black Ops 4. Classified is it's 5. It's a really good map. I didn't enjoy 5 when that first came out, because I was really bad at it. Thankfully, with the difficulty selector in Black Ops 4, I'm finally able to enjoy Classified, which is great, because I really like 5. I really like how they remade 5 and Classified. I think it's way better than the Black Ops 3 remakes, which were still phenomenal. Alpha Omega's map design is pretty similar to Nuketown. Nuketown Zombies was it was a so-so map. Some people liked it, some people hated it. I hated it. I don't like Nuketown Zombies' design. It feels way too random and way too unfair and way too cluttered. That's just my opinion. Alpha Omega does kind of fix this with the underground bunker, but it's still pretty much just Nuketown Zombies, but extended. This map didn't need to be at Nuketown. It could have been anywhere else. One of my big problems so far with Black Ops 4 is that it hasn't added anything new to the table. It hasn't contributed to the non-chaos storyline at all. It's just been remakes. There's nothing that we can take away from this game right now. It's just kind of like static. We have a Mod of the Dead remake, we have a 5 remake, and we have a Nuketown remake. I'd like to see some new maps, but now that we're going to be on the final map, I'm confident from the trailer that it's Revelations 2. A lot of people think it's going to be Call of the Dead, but no, I'm confident it's Revelations 2, and they're going to do all the maps that weren't in Revelations. And if I'm right, I get $100, bet me $100 right now. And the budget was way too spread out, because they decided that they wanted to do a Battle Royale game at the last minute. When they were making campaigns, before the game launched, they would have one team on zombies, one team on multiplayer, and one team on the campaign. And once the people on the campaign team were done, they probably would be split between multiplayer and zombies, right? But now that there's no there wasn't actually a campaign, so people had to work on that. And then they also had to work on Blackout. That means that the people who were spread between 2 sectors are now spread between 2 sectors. Which means that multiplayer and zombies are riddled with remakes, and the game is on a very low budget, and their only real solution is to add in a ton of DLC, try to make some money off of it so they have a higher budget to make some better maps. But that led to more backlash, which led to them having to make more free maps and free stuff, which adds to this vicious cycle of horrible content being spat out of the game. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Black Ops 4. If you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and have a great day.